Hey YouTube, how you doing? Um, I'm back to doing the YouTube videos because I'll just tell you on a personal note, I'm not into writing for several reasons. A, I don't make any money, and it's a lot of work for not making any money. B, I've got a little bit of carpal tunnel syndrome for all the typing that I've done for the past 40 years. My hands are starting to hurt, and I'm just getting more into this YouTube thing. It's it's easier for me just to talk about things instead of type, 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 type. And if I don't make any money, it's no big deal. At least I'm not working my ass off trying to impress somebody. All right, so that's why I don't write as much anymore. All right, I want to talk today about Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I think it's a really, popular um, platform as far as how people want to see what the opinions are of film and shows and the artistic teams that make those. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is pretty well known as far as being a critiquer, and I don't have any problem with Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, what I'm doing with this video is talking about Rotten Tomatoes as a platform for critique and seeing my opinions, comparing my opinions to Rotten Tomatoes scores, which are, I guess, a consensus of whoever. I don't know how the tallies are made on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's a percentage, out of I guess out of yeah. I have roaches. Isn't that gross? Now the roaches are photobombing my freaking videos. I have a whole video, a comedy routine on the roaches, but that's for another video. So if you see roaches, just wait for my comedy routine about the roaches. I've been working on that material. I have some really good comedy about the roaches. All right, anyway, back to Rotten Tomatoes and the movie stuff. So I have several movies that have been on my mind that I've seen. Some I like, some I don't. And I was comparing my likes and dislikes to the Rotten Tomatoes scores. And sometimes me and Rotten Tomatoes agree, and then sometimes we're way different in opinion. So I want to talk about that so that, I don't know, you know, for other people who check on the Rotten Tomatoes and get that feeling like, really? I liked that movie and they said it was horrible. It happens, you know? I mean, that's the thing about showbiz and entertainment and art. You know, some people don't like stick figure drawings and another person loves it. Some people don't like playing tic-tac-toe. Another person loves it. Yeah, tastes and opinions and stuff like that. You never know. But I like to compare. I do. I like to compare my opinion to the Rotten Tomatoes score, their scoring system. So here we go. I have about, let's see, one, two, three, four, five. I have six movies I want to mention, and I'm gonna probably do a more thorough review on one of those movies that I'm gonna mention. But for now, I'm just gonna talk about these six movies and my opinions compared to Rotten Tomatoes a score. Okay, so let's start with two movies and that were on my mind because I rewatched one recently, and I think they're in the same genre. I think they're both meant to be horror films. Serpent and the Rainbow and Wicker Man. Serpent and the Rainbow has a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Wicker Man has a 15% score on the Rotten Tomatoes. Now, this is where I agree with Rotten Tomatoes. I agree with those scores. I think those are accurate, in my opinion. In my opinion, I agree with Rotten Tomatoes on those two movies. I love Nicolas Cage, but Wicker Man was probably, one of the worst movies he was ever in. It was pretty awful. I don't know what the director was thinking, but it was cheesy. I mean, it had a few scary moments and stuff, but it was really cheesy. And cheesy to the fact where not like cheesy like fun like Freddy Krueger, like cheesy like it makes Charlie's Angels movie look, way better. That kind of cheesy. And Serpent and the Rainbow was really kind of like the same theme of horror story. and it was just way better done, really much better. I think Serpent in the Rainbow was just done better, and if you can watch both and see why I think this, or maybe you'll have a different opinion. Maybe you'll think Wicker Man is better, but Serpent in the Rainbow did come out way before Wicker Man, and I just don't know what the director was thinking with Wicker Man, because maybe the director, he or she, I don't even know who the director was, maybe they had never seen Serpent in the Rainbow. Maybe if they had seen Serpent in the Rainbow, they wouldn't have even put out Wicker Man, because they would have seen why they were going to get a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was really bad. And again, I love Nicolas Cage, but I just that's not a good movie on his resume. I don't like that movie. All right, another one I want to compare is a recent film which has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. I can't believe this. This movie has a 99%. You know how hard that is to get a movie to get 99% on the Rotten Tomatoes? That's like hardly ever happens. And I can't believe that it's the movie Parasite has a 99% score on Rotten. They love it. They love it. I don't. This is where I disagree with Rotten Tomatoes. I don't like that movie at all. At all. If I mean, on my personal score list, it'd be lucky to get a 25% out of me. It was that's how awful I felt. I mean, I haven't felt that awful since the first time I tried to watch Open Water. I mean, I walked out of the theater in Open Water, and then I didn't start to like it till the second viewing, and I went, all right. Instead of a 0%, I'll give Open Water a 10%, maybe a 15%. But all I could give Parasite is a 25%. It was awful, and it's got a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. How? I don't know how. And the movie I'm going to compare it to, this is where, you know, there's agreement and disagreement here with the Rotten Tomatoes scoring, is the Joy Luck Club, which came out way, 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 way long time ago before Parasite. I love the Joy Luck Club. I love that movie. It's got an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. In my opinion, the Joy Luck Club should have a 99%, and Parasite should be way lower than 99%. That's my opinion. I love the Joy Luck Club. I don't like Parasite. It was boring, tedious, and just, I mean, if you're depressed, like it's like the movie's handing you a noose. Just, the movie's just telling you to go ahead and kill yourself. Oh my god, I couldn't take it. It was terrible. All right, so I disagree with the score on that. Okay, now the final two movies, there's an agreement and a disagreement. So I agree with Rotten Tomatoes score on Serpent in the Rainbow and Wicker Man. I disagree with their score on Parasite and Joy Luck Club. Joy Luck Club should be higher, Parasite should be lower. And now the final two movies I want to say where I agree and disagree. I want to talk about Boxing Helena and My Left Foot. Now, before I tell you what Rotten Tomatoes scores are, I want to talk about these two films and what I know about these two films, because both Boxing Helena and My Left Foot are, like, in my catalog of best movies. I love those two movies. They're very, very good movies, and I recommend them. So, but if I recommend Boxing Helena and My Left Foot, if I recommend those movies, and then you go to Rotten Tomatoes and you see, well, My Left Foot has a 98%, but Boxing Helena only has a 14%, then you're going to think that Boxing Helena is as bad as Wicker Man. It's not. It's not. And I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so Boxing Helena, let me give you some information about Boxing Helena and why I really, truly, adamantly disagree with the 14% Rotten Tomatoes score on that movie. This is kind of funny and kind of ironic. Jennifer Lynch directed Boxing Helena, and it was a movie and came out in 1993. And it starred Sherilyn Fenn as Helena, Julian Sands as Nick the surgeon, Bill Paxton as Ray, and Betsy Clark as Anne. It was rated R. It was deemed a critical and financial failure. Jennifer Lynch did win a Golden Raspberry Award in 1993 for the worst director, and the film made almost $1 million overall, which was considered a failure. And okay, so now you know how much crap that this movie has taken. Now I want to tell you why 14% is so wrong as a critique on this movie, because I think that Boxing Helena is a genius movie and should be in the same score category as My Left Foot. My Left Foot has a 98%. If you've seen the movie, you know why it's a good movie. It did win Academy Awards, and it's a great movie. I'm not going to talk about that because I agree with Rotten Tomatoes on that film, but I totally disagree about Boxing Helena. Okay, so I want to talk a lot about Boxing Helena. I was going to save this critique and review about Boxing Helena for a separate film. I mean, for a separate film, for a separate YouTube contribution. But I'm not. I'm going to go right into my review of Boxing Helena because the 14% on Rotten Tomatoes has got me like perplexed. I can't believe that they've hated this movie since 1993 and nobody can understand the genius in this movie. It is genius. I mean, how can critiquers agree with me that My Left Foot is a great film and then disagree with me that Boxing Helena is the same kind of genius? I just don't get that. How can you give 99% to a boring, flat, pathetic movie like Parasite and put 14% on Boxing Helena? I it blows my freaking mind. I just don't get it. I just don't understand. What am I missing? Why does everybody not like Boxing Helena who has seen it? Why don't they see the genius in it that I see in it? I'm really missing something. I was watching some movie reviews before I want to keep on going about Boxing Helena. But and Jennifer Lynch, you are not the worst director. I know you won the Golden Raspberry Award in 1993 for the worst director, but I think that was bullshit. Jennifer Lynch, this movie, Boxing Helena, was fucking genius. And I can't believe it. I just can't believe it's going to be sitting there in the archives at 14% Rotten Tomatoes score. Excuse me. I stutter. I just can't believe it. Boxing Helena is genius. All right. All right. Let me go on about Boxing Helena. If you have not seen the film, this 1993 film called Boxing Helena, let me tell you why I would give it a 99% like Parasite has. Way better than Parasite. It's dark, okay? I'm going to say this. This is not a fairy tale movie, and maybe it's disturbing. Okay? It's a film that I would classify as disturbing. But it's deep. It is deep. I mean, everybody loves to talk about movies like The Matrix. Oh, that was deep, man. That was deep. Yeah, okay. It was deep. It was, at the time it came out, it was a good like punch in the face. Like, whoa, that's something to think about. And we've been talking about the deepness of The Matrix for a long time, but you got to understand just how deep Boxing Helena is. And maybe that's why people hate it. Do they hate it because it's deep and disturbing? Or do they hate it because it undermines the fabric of the cliche life that they really, really embrace on a day to day basis? Because it really points out all our bullshit and hypocrisy. Is that why they hate it? Hmm? Maybe that's why they hate it. I'm going to talk about Boxing Helena. Um, there's this beautiful girl, and her name's Helena. Okay. And there's this guy, Nick, he's a surgeon. And Helena has a boyfriend named Ray, and Nick is has a girlfriend named Anne. Okay. Well, Nick, the surgeon, is like obsessed, mentally obsessed with Helena. So the whole movie is this dream or nightmare scenario. It's not even real. It's a whole like surreal dream nightmare event. Of course, you don't really figure that out until you've analyzed and gotten to the end of the movie and thought about the movie. But it's a dream nightmare movie. He's in a dream in a nightmare. And it stems from she got hit by a car and she was in the hospital and he works at the hospital and he's been obsessed with this girl, even though he has a girlfriend and she has a boyfriend. He's obsessed with her. Well, anyway, it's a whole dream nightmare thing where he lives out in this dream nightmare thing, this fantasy of his of being her man. And they make her character a shrew bitch. But I don't think that's the main gist of this very deep story. Her being a shrew bitch is just reactionary to him, to his fantasy. And the more I watched this movie, I kept flipping things. I kept saying, well, what if Nick was, Nicole? And what if Helena was Henry or something? What if it was Nicole and Henry? Flip the sexes to see. And then it just gets deeper and deeper the more you flip the sexes. It gets deeper and deeper. It's like, in my opinion, it's a classic. This movie, Boxing Helena, is right up there with Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Why people, whether you liked Elizabeth Taylor in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, or whether you thought that movie was just crazy and unnecessary, if you like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, you cannot not see the parallel genius of Boxing Helena. That's all I've got to say about that. So how can you call Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf a classic and then give Boxing Helena a 14%? That's all I've got to say about that. That's my critiques of critiquing for today. And I do have some comedy stuff coming about roaches and some other opinions coming soon.